Hey YouTube. So this is going to be a video. It's not exactly a makeup tutorial, but it's going to be a video about makeup essentials. So this is what you're going to need in order to start. This is going to make your life a lot more easier when you start doing makeup. And also I'm going to tell you what things you need in order to keep your brushes clean. The first thing I feel like you need is rubbing alcohol. So I know right now it's really hard to get rubbing alcohol. You can't really find it anywhere as easily as you did before. I actually got this. This is a 32-ounce bottle of alcohol. I got it from Walmart.com. Unfortunately, you can't find 90%. You can only find 70% now. This is what I use to clean my brushes, you know, in between. Not to wash them. This is just to clean in between. You're also going to need paper towels, or you can use a regular, you know, little hand towel, but I think it's always better to just use a paper towel. Also, what I use to clean my brushes, solid brush cleaner. So basically it comes like this. Obviously I'm running out, I have another one. But it comes with a silicone pad inside. So what you do is you wet it, and then you take your brush, you know, you spin it in the soap first, and then you clean it off with water on this. So this is something you can only use to wash your brushes. This isn't something that you use in between. And by in between, I mean if you want to switch brushes, if you want to switch colors and use the same brush, you know, the best thing is to just use alcohol. Just spray it, put it in a little bottle, and spray the paper towel and put it in here. And rub it on here. So that's what I meant. So I actually want to start with concealing brushes. Each one does something a little bit different. So I'm going to start with this one. This is a Morphe M173. And then you can also use something like this, which is also used for blending concealer, but this is also good for spot concealing. So let's say you're breaking out in your forehead or something, you want to cover up a spot. All you need to do is tap in the color, not necessarily like, you know, blend it out, but just tapping the color in and just slightly blending around it. So this is what I would use for spot concealing. And if you notice with concealing brushes, they're actually made of a different material. Like you'll notice a difference between shadow brushes and concealing brushes. So I would say like with concealing brushes, they're like a little bit smoother. They kind of feel like plasticky bristles, you know, if that makes sense. And then what I use to actually set the concealer, you can actually use a brush like this. You can actually use this to place, you know, the powder on top of the concealer, and you can use it to brush out the concealer. So this is a cheap little e.l.f. brush. I would say if you were to get any of these brushes, I would say the most important would be if you're on a budget and you're starting out doing makeup, get something like this. Because at least with this, you're able to blend it out. It gives a very airbrushed look. So this is nice to blend out that concealer, and this is great for placing powder underneath to set the concealer. Just a little tiny amount, you don't need to go crazy, and just dust it off once it sets. So I feel that these 4 brushes are the most important brushes to use if you're just starting out doing makeup. So you have your blending brush right here. It's gonna look like that. And with a blending brush, it's always gonna look fluffy. You know, it's always gonna have fluffy feel to it. It's not hard, it's not very dense. So this is what a blending brush is gonna look like. For, you know, applying eyeshadow, I would say this one. So it's gonna look like this. This one obviously is a little bit more dense, it's more flat, if you see it right there from the side. And it's a little bit more compact. So this is what you use to apply eyeshadow. Not to necessarily blend, but to apply it. And then you're gonna have this brush. So this is a smudge brush. So this is great for smudging eyeliner, like over here in your lash line. This is great like for the top if you want to smudge your eyeliner. And then the last brush that I think is really important is a smaller blending brush. So this one's very small, similar to a regular blending brush, but it's a little bit pointed. And it's like a tiny version of the regular blending brush. So the reason why I like this one is because I feel like it can get into smaller spaces. You know, you can get into smaller spaces. The color isn't dispersed as much as a regular blending brush. And this is also great for underneath if you're placing color or blending it out. Or if you're working on somebody's makeup, you know, somebody that has really small eyes, this is perfect for blending. Okay, so now we're actually gonna get into foundation brushes. So I'm actually somebody that uses powder foundations more, but I do use liquid still, but rarely. But I always stick to powder foundations for the most part because I feel like it's better for my skin. Just use whatever works for you. If you're gonna use liquid foundation, this is your liquid foundation brush right here. So this is just a regular Real Techniques brush. You can find many variations of the same brush. So this is great for liquid foundations. This is great for liquid contour, for liquid blush, or for cream blushes. This is great for that too. And if you're someone like me who prefers powder, this is the brush that I use. So this is just a regular, you know, inexpensive Sephora brush. So this is a powder brush, so it's a lot more soft, it's a lot more fluffy. And then for setting foundation, if you're using liquid foundation, this is something that I use to set. So this brush, I love this brush. I actually got this at Marshall's. It's very cheap. So this is what you would use. You would use something big like this. This is also good for the body. Like if you're using creams on the body, you can also use this. You can use this to add highlight. You know, in the summer, I know that's really popular, just adding highlight. And yeah, so basically you just dip this in your setting powder, just tap off the excess. Something like this is very good for setting. And then one final foundation, I guess, tool that I would use is something like this. So this is a beauty blender. I love this because this is very easy to use, especially if you're starting out. You know, it's very easy, quick. You can also use this to set underneath your eye. You can use this for creams, you know, if you're using cream blush, cream contour. This has so many uses. All you need to do is wet the brush, squeeze the excess water, and just start using it. So the only thing is you have to keep this in a dry area. You can't keep it in a closed space because it's going to grow mold, it's going to stink. It's going to get black spots on it. I've seen it before. I'm not going to say where I've seen it, but it's disgusting. Like, you have to keep it in a safe place. So, you know, I actually got this on eBay. It was maybe less than $5 or $5. I don't know, but I love the fact that it has holes in it. And you can travel with this. So this is very easy and bendy. Okay, so now we're going to get into contour. So for contouring, you would need a brush like this. So this one I actually got at a beauty supply store. It's very soft. You know, if you look at it from the side, it's not super dense or anything like that. Very soft. Just dip it into your contour and just, you know, contour accordingly. You know, according to your face shape and everything. So this is a contouring brush right here. And this can also be used for blush. So always remember that you don't have to have a separate brush necessarily for everything. Just know how to use your brush and you'll be set. And now we're gonna go into highlighting. So I feel like everyone, you know, highlighting is like the big thing now. If you're somebody like me who likes very minimal makeup, I would use something like this. So this is a fan brush. So this is great, you know, because you can actually use this for blush too. So you would just, you know, tap it on a little bit and just lightly brush it on. Cupid's bow, your nose, your cheeks, your cheekbones. So this is something I would use if you're somebody like me who uses very minimal makeup, who likes, you know, just a touch of makeup. This is great for that. So then we have this brush right here, which is another highlighting brush. This one, if you look at it from the side, it's a little bit more dense. If you're someone that likes very dramatic highlight, I would recommend something like this. So it is still soft, but a little bit more dense, like the bristles are a lot closer. This is like a heavier application of highlighting. And then we have something like this. This is another variation of highlighting. You know, you can use a powder brush. There's so many small powder brushes like this. I feel like you're more able to blend out with this, whereas this one is a little bit more, I would say, like a little bit more compact, so it's a little bit harder to blend. So I would say if you're starting out, you know, start with something like this, or you can just use the easy light fan brush, and you can always, you know, add more with this, you know. So those are the highlighting brushes. If you're someone that likes to fill in your brows, I would say get a brush like this. It's just a regular eyebrow brush. But I do feel like this is the best. This is Anastasia 7B. This is great for someone who likes to use pomades. It creates the most, you know, realistic hair-like strokes on in your eyebrows. So this is really good for creating that illusion. And this is great for blending too, you know, the little spoolie at the end. And yeah, so if you're someone that likes to fill in your brows, definitely get one of these. You know, again, it doesn't have to be Anastasia. It can be any other brand, a cheaper brand. Morphe probably has one. All the brushes that I showed you, it isn't everything that I have. It isn't everything out on the market. I'm pretty sure there's so many of the same type of brushes, but I just showed you the basics of what you're going to need to start out and what's the easiest to use when you begin. I hope that you took something from this video. I hope that you learned at least something from this video, you know. So my makeup tutorials are coming soon. I don't know when, but they are coming soon. But this is just for those who are just starting out with makeup and don't really have a clue, didn't really have a clue like what brush does what. I hope that helped, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, please hit the like button, and again, thank you for watching.